Uh, Carrie?
Carrie Fralino, Marlboro.
Great, thanks, Joe. I don't see Joe on yet. Mary?
Mary Kuchevsky, Marlboro.
Great, thank you. Sue? Sue will not be joining us tonight. Heather? I don't see Heather on yet. Pam? I know is not going to be joining us tonight. Mike?
Mike Sharon, Hebron.
Great, thanks. Gabe?
Gabe Marks, Hebron.
Thank you. Eric?
Eric Shevchenko, Andover.
Great, thank you. Kirsten?
Kirsten Erlinson, Andover.
Great, thanks. And Mike Morris, Hebron. So we'll move on to item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, which pushes us on to item 3, public comment. If you bear with me for a moment here, Hebron, Andover, and Marlboro community engagement and attendance at Board of Education public meetings is welcome. A public comment segment of the meeting agenda is set aside so the Board of Education may receive public comments. Procedurally, public remarks will be limited to 3 minutes and citizens will be asked to identify themselves. Because the Board of Education is limited by the Freedom of Information Act to discussing only matters on the agenda, the Board of Education is not permitted to engage in a discussion of the comments presented. So at this point, I'll just ask if there's anybody out there that is interested in giving public comment. If you would raise your digital hand or make yourself otherwise known, we'll recognize you. I don't, Eric, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't see anybody raising their hand.
No, there are no hands raised.
Okay, perfect. We'll move on to item 4, which is the discussion of the athletic field improvement bid, and I'll turn it over to Mr. McNamara.
So thank you, sir. I had sent an email to the Board of Education about a week and a half ago regarding this topic, and I'll just kind of quickly kind of hit some of the highlights with regards to this. So as the board knows, we had put out a request for proposal at the end of June for bids to have 2 aspects of our athletic fields addressed. So to do a perimeter drain around the competition field, as well as address some of the drainage and just the quality issues of the 316 North practice field. Unfortunately, we only received 1 bid for both of those projects. We put out a single RFP for both of those projects. We received a single bid, and it was significantly higher than we had anticipated based off of the work that had been done by Ian Lacey and Tom Irwin Advisors. And just so it's out in the public, they had anticipated that the field perimeter drain around the comp field would be between $70,000 and $85,000 to address that issue. And the cost of the estimated cost of the work for 316 North was they anticipated between $50,000 and $70,000. So we were anticipating, obviously, a round of a cost between $120,000 to $155,000 for both of those projects. And unfortunately, the total cost that was bid on it was a total of $679,000. So significantly higher, obviously, than what we had anticipated. Again, it was a single bidder. There's a lot of speculation as to why the price was so inflated for that single bid. It's because maybe they knew that they were the only bidder. There's a whole host of reasons why they landed at the price tag that they landed at. The reality, though, is that obviously it is well beyond what we anticipated. It is well beyond what we actually have the budget for. I think in totality, we have about, Eva, correct me if I'm wrong, $500 and some odd $1,000 in the capital non-recurring account.
Yeah, just shy of 600,000.
Just thank you so much. So obviously, even if it was something that we wanted to do, it wouldn't be something that we could afford at this point. And so ultimately, we decided, obviously, we're not going to move forward with those projects. We're fortunate this evening to be joined by Art Eddy. Art is the landscape architect that we've been working with. And Art might be able to weigh in a little bit as far as why, the bid might have been quite a bit beyond what we anticipated it being. but ultimately, after a number of conversations between Art, Ian Lacey from Tomerwood Advisors, Eva, Michael Schlehofer, and myself, obviously we're not going to move forward with the project at this time. We're anticipating that we would go out to bid, and Eva or Art or Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, we're anticipating going out to bid for those projects again this coming fall. We're thinking either sometime in the late September to late October, early November time period, going out to bid for those projects again, putting out 2 separate RFPs, one for the comp field perimeter drain, a separate bid or separate RFP, I apologize, for the 316 North Field, because, and Art can correct me if I'm wrong, but if we're thinking that there might be some companies that have a specialty in one of those areas versus another, and so it might be advantageous to us to do 2 separate RFPs for the work to be completed in the spring and summer of 2004. I'll just maybe open it up to either Eva, Art, or Michael Schlehofer, and you guys can either jump in and correct me if I made any mistakes, or just elaborate on any things that you think I might need to elaborate on.
Well, since Mr. Eddy has joined the call, why don't we introduce Mr. Eddy to the Board of Education?
Thank you. So as I said briefly, Art is the landscape architect that we've been working with, and he's been just a great asset to us in that, and he's obviously very familiar with the projects. And Art, I don't know if you want to jump in and say a couple of things.
Yeah, and I apologize, my camera's not working. It's showing up as Intel or something like that. But so this oddly in the last 2 weeks, I had the same exact situation in North Smithfield, Rhode Island, with just an absorbent bid on a baseball field that came in almost identical in price. So we're just seeing pricing with one bidder, and happens to be the same bidder that you received. If we look at through the pricing, just based on what we know through the industry, everything came in high. And one of the discussions we had was RAD Sports, who bid the contract, is a very, very good contractor, but they're a general contractor. You have turf and horticultural improvements on the practice field. You have construction practices on the stadium field, which is drainage, earthwork, those types of things. So you're combining 2 contractors, and one of the things that we discussed was the possibility of eliminating some of the horticultural sports contractors from bidding on the practice field, because we had heard word that there were a few other bidders coming and they did not bid the project. And we've been chasing them to figure out why they did not. We feel like separating the projects will get better pricing numbers, being by able to split them up, and then also giving the contractors more lead time onto when they can bid the actual project from construction. If we get into typically what we've seen, it used to be you used to have to bid projects in January, February for the season. Now if we bid kind of in a November range, October range, as Mr. McNamara mentioned, that we'll be prepared for the kind of summer season again, to prepare for kind of that construction season, to make sure that the field doesn't come offline. We talked a little bit about scheduling, things like that, to make sure we're not disrupting athletics as little as possible.
So I don't know if the board has any specific questions. Any members of the board have any specific questions about kind of where we are with regards to this project? I feel comfortable that we have a good plan moving forward to do the RFPs in the fall. We're hoping that the longer run up until the projects actually would commence would get us a couple of different things: a higher number of people putting bids on the project, and obviously a significantly more realistic price. But I would open it up to the floor if there's any board members with any specific questions for any of us.
I have a question. So I understand what kind of ran up this last bid, so I won't really refer to that very much. But I guess the one question I do want to get from you, given what you've seen in the other bid processes, how far off are we from the original cost? Because I mean, if that bid is only 20% off of what we can expect, that may be a circumstance where we need to have another discussion about what the plan is going forward, given kind of the bandwidth of our budget for what we want to do.
Yeah, based off the review, I mean, one of the things, and I'll just give you an example from the bid price was to remove one of the main irrigation lines, move it over 3 feet to expand. That came in to double the cost of what a new irrigation system would cost.
And is that market, or is that just because we are short fuse bid with one contractor?
I think it's market right now. I'm seeing it across the board. I'm seeing bids come in 60 to 70% higher. The outlook and discussions I've had is there's a potential slowdown for 2024. There's a big push on finalizing COVID money right now. So getting contractors to bid projects has been very, very difficult.
Well, I guess I'll go back to the original cost. What would we get back as far as a bid? Like, are we still in the $400,000 or $500,000 ballpark for this bid now that we're, because again, what was the previous bid, like 80 or 90 grand?
Well,
the plan was 80 or 90 grand, something like that.
The solutions report that we were anticipating the cost being in the range put the perimeter drain cost being between $70,000 and $85,000, and the 316 North project being, I think, between $50,000 and $70,000. And again, so you're looking at that between $120,000 and $155,000 for those two projects in total combined. And the one bid that we received was $679,000. So
yeah, I don't think you're not talking about a 50% increase, or there is some room there that I think will come up just due to market conditions, but I don't know that off that 120 or 155 you're doubling that price or tripling that price. In this instance, it was much more than that.
Okay. I mean, look, but just for one person speaking, I mean, I don't think we have any choice but to go back and rebid it. The way you guys have planned it sounds right to me. But I'll defer to the facilities group for their advice on this too.
Well, Eric had his hand up. I'll let him go first, but I'll add comments when Eric's done.
Why don't we flip that? Why don't you go first?
Oh, okay.
And then if I have, then we can go after that.
Sure. I think the strategy that Art is discussing is extremely sound. I've seen costs go up exorbitantly. I think that people are looking to capitalize on opportunities for free money that's floating around right now. If this were 20% increase over what we anticipated in the original report, I'd say fine. That's just the economy, right? Yeah. That's just inflation. But 60 to 70%, somebody's looking to capitalize on an opportunity and make a bundle. I think our timing is actually good to go back in the fall to put these quotes, put these bids back out to quote. That also gives us an opportunity to finalize all of our well improvements and get the well back up and running order. And it gives us a little bit of a window in the event that there are any turnbacks on the well activities, right? So I want to make sure that those activities fall in line. Getting through the well and starting this project in the spring, I think is the right thing to do. And hopefully by breaking them out, I think Art's suggestion is fantastic. I think you're going to look at companies that specialize in, either one part of the project versus another. And it's going to expand the array of potential bidders.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I have a quick question. Is Mr. Eddy, is your group, and forgive me for not knowing this, Colin, you can, or Eva, you can correct me on this, but are you part of like the quality assurance on our end to make sure that as we're going from one contractor to another, that we're not handing off a problem?
Yep. Yeah. So I kind of come in the middle, but I'm the person that wrote specifications. I'm the person that put the plan together. Yeah. So in those specifications are qualification based. They have to do certain things. They have to be qualified to do certain things. And then I regulate that on the back end as your representative to make sure they're doing those things. Yeah.
I mean, the benefit of having somebody that owns the whole project is they can't point the finger at one subcontractor. Right. But then again, to Mike's point, if you have people who are specialized, we probably get a, some total better product for people that know are a little bit more focused on what they're doing. That's all.
That's correct.
So this is, so I will also say, so not only is Art one of the quality assurance people that we'd be working with, but also one of the things later on our agenda is the idea of talking about amending the contract that we have with Tom Irwin Advisors. And that's another aspect that they bring to the table as well, is that, you know, oversight of the project and making sure that it actually is, you know, meeting the you know, whoever the ultimate contractor is that we identified, that they're doing the things that they need to do. So it's a combination. Art, correct me if I'm wrong. It's a combination of you working very cohesively with people from Top Road Advisors.
That's correct. We work together hand in hand.
Why don't you go ahead, Eric?
With my limited experience, I've found that when multiple bids come in on most any project, the dollars can be dramatically different. So I will look forward to seeing, you know, hopefully multiple bids in the fall. And it seems to me within the realm of possibility that we could get a bid that's much, much lower than what we're seeing today.
Okay. Anybody else? Comments, questions? Okay.
I think we're good. I just want to say, Art, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us this evening and share your knowledge and experience with this. And I'm sure that we'll be talking over the next couple of weeks or months as we move forward with things.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Appreciate it.
Mr. Reddy.
Okay, well, I guess which brings us on to item 5, which is the executive session. This would be for the discussion concerning attorney-client privilege communications regarding the following topics. Number 1, a possible amendment to the contract between Tom Irwin Advisors and Regional School District 8. And number 2, the retroactive application of CHRO requirements to completed HVAC projects. So at this point, I'll put a motion on the floor, and if there's any discussion or comment, we can go ahead and discuss it and then go ahead and vote whether or not to move into executive session. At this point,
I'll make that motion.
Say again?
Nothing. I thought you'd already made the motion.
No.
Go ahead.
No, but thanks. I appreciate the proactivity in the middle of July. Thank you. At this point, I'd entertain a motion to move to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing attorney-client privileged communications regarding a possible amendment to the contract between Tom Irwin Advisors and Regional School District Number 8 and the retroactive application of CHRO requirements to completed HVAC projects. I further move to invite attorney Lauren Askoff, as well as Superintendent Colin McNamara and our business manager, Eva Gallup, as well as our facilities director, Michael Schlehofer, into the executive session. Mike makes the motion. Is there a second?
Yes, please.
Second, Gabe Marks.
Thanks, Gabe. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing no opposed, we will move into executive session.
So, Eric, if you want to stop recording, and then.
Okay, so if you can start the recording again, great, thank you. We return to regular session. Based on our discussions, I would like to, I would entertain a motion to move for the board to amend the contract with Tom Irwin Advisors dated June 8th, 2022, and authorize the superintendent to work with legal counsel from Shipman and Goodwin to finalize and enter into the amended contract.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Mike Sharon.
Mike Sharon made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. I think that was Heather. Is there any discussion?
It was Carrie.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Carrie.
That's okay.
Hearing none, I'd like to do money votes just as a roll. So we'll do a roll vote here. Carrie?
Yes.
Thank you. Mary?
Yes.
Thank you. Joe? I don't think he's on. Susan? I don't think she's joined us. Heather?
Yes.
Thank you. Pam, I don't think she joined us. Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Gabe?
Yes.
Eric?
I don't know if he jumped back in or not.
Okay. And Kirsten?
Yes.
Thank you. And I vote yes.
And Eric's back now too.
Okay, Eric, you can still join the vote.
You might not know what it is.
I don't hear.
To amend Eric, the vote right now is to amend the contract with Tom Irwin Advisors dated June 8th, 2022, and authorize the superintendent to work with legal counsel from Shipman and Goodwin to finalize and enter into the amended contract.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
And then I voted yes as well.
We're good.
Sorry, let the beasts finish. Okay, great. That being done, then moves us on to item 7, which is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Did we vote yes overall? We did. Okay.
Yes, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Yes, it passed. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
No way.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Who was that?
Mary.
Oh, Mary. Okay, great. Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that. It's Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie. Any discussion? Hearing none. A voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none opposed, that motion carries and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.